Clara Bennett had always believed that Christmas was sacred, a season of warmth, joy, and surprises, until she discovered that her own holiday spirit had been meticulously exploited by the very man she loved. She had spent weeks planning the perfect Christmas surprise for Nathaniel Clark, the kind of thoughtful, heart-stopping gesture that would have made even the most cynical soul sigh with admiration. She had scoured artisanal markets for the rare truffled chocolates he adored, commissioned a local jeweler to engrave a silver pendant with an inside joke only they shared, and even hired a string quartet to perform in his office on Christmas Eve. Clara had poured her heart into each detail, imagining the look on his face when he realized how deeply she cared. Instead, she discovered the truth in the coldest, most humiliating way possible. She had been double-checking the guest list for his office Christmas party when a notification popped up on her phone, a tagged photo of Nathaniel laughing in a cozy cafe with someone else, someone who was clearly not her. Her stomach twisted. The captions were playful, intimate, loaded with familiarity. The date matched the exact afternoon she had spent hand-painting tiny ornaments for his tree, her hands trembling with anticipation. Her chest burned, not with the glow of festive excitement, but with the icy rage of betrayal. Clara didn't confront him. She didn't yell.
She didn't sob.
Instead, she smiled quietly, a slow, deliberate smile that didn't reach her eyes. She had always been meticulous. Planning surprises was her specialty. Now, she would orchestrate a reckoning, one that would shine as brightly as Christmas lights and sting far more than a winter chill. The first step was subtle. Clara invited Nathaniel's closest colleagues to a holiday gathering at her apartment under the pretense of celebrating the season. She decorated the space like a winter wonderland, soft twinkling lights, a pine-scented room, and a table laid out with homemade cookies. But hidden within this charm were pieces of the story she intended to reveal, evidence carefully woven into innocent-looking packages. She started small. The first gift was a beautifully wrapped box labeled, "From me to you." Inside, she had placed a framed photo of Nathaniel and his mistress, with a discreet note at the bottom. "Remember this while you laugh at my Christmas tree?" She texted the invitees a cheerful reminder to bring gifts, ensuring everyone would see her attention to detail. The next was a customized advent calendar she had made specifically for Nathaniel. Each door opened to reveal another proof of his deception. Screenshots of flirty messages, receipts from expensive dinners, and photographs of him sneaking away from meetings for clandestine rendezvous. Clara had engineered it so that he, unknowingly, would open the final door during the party itself, revealing a tiny mirror with the words, "Look at yourself." On Christmas Eve, Nathaniel arrived, dressed sharply in a festive sweater, expecting the usual warmth. Clara greeted him with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, directing him to the first gift on the mantel. His brow furrowed as he lifted the frame. Confusion turned to horror when he realized it was the very proof he thought was buried, a secret he believed only he controlled. The party unfolded like a carefully choreographed symphony. Friends and colleagues wandered the apartment, admiring the decor, sampling her desserts, and casually discovering more gifts. Clara had taken care to ensure that each piece told the story in a gradual, escalating crescendo. A scrapbook on the coffee table featured dates, locations, and messages that laid bare Nathaniel's infidelity. She had even prepared a surprise slideshow for the grand finale under the guise of a nostalgic holiday montage. The projector flickered to life, displaying images of Nathaniel and his mistress, time-stamped and captioned with moments he had intended to hide. Laughter and gasps filled the room, not the joyous kind, but the shocked, incredulous kind that froze people mid-step. Nathaniel's face turned crimson as realization sank in. He opened his mouth, tried to offer explanations, but Clara had anticipated every excuse. Each photo, message, and receipt was irrefutable. Her final act of poetic justice was the icing on the gingerbread house. She handed him a gift she had clearly marked special. Inside was a live feed from the video she had secretly arranged with his parents and his sister, who weren't on her plan. On the screen, his family's expressions mirrored the collective shock of the guests. Every person Nathaniel cared about now saw the same truth he had spent months hiding. For a long, tense moment, the room was silent. Then murmurs spread. Nathaniel attempted to salvage dignity, but the facade crumbled like a poorly baked cookie. Clara, standing with perfect poise, finally spoke. "Merry Christmas, Nathaniel. I hope this season teaches you the same lesson you taught me, about trust, about honesty, and about what happens when someone underestimates a woman's capacity to plan." He tried to speak, but no words could undo the humiliation. Clara turned to her friends and colleagues, raising a glass. "To honesty," she toasted, her voice ringing like chimes in the frosty night. Glasses clinked, and for the first time that season, Clara felt a spark of warmth, one that wasn't dulled by betrayal, one that was brightened by justice and the satisfaction of reclaiming her power. The rest of the evening flowed like a dream. Nathaniel remained at the center of whispered conversations and stifled laughter. His festive cheer evaporated. Clara danced among her friends, free from the shadow of deceit that had once threatened to suffocate her spirit. She watched him from across the room, and a quiet, triumphant smile curved her lips. As the clock struck midnight, she slipped out to the balcony, breathing in the crisp winter air. Snowflakes drifted lazily, dusting the city in silver. Clara allowed herself a small, private laugh, the kind that warms from the inside out. This Christmas was different, brighter, clearer, and infinitely more satisfying. She had turned betrayal into brilliance, heartbreak into a lesson no one could ignore. Clara Bennett had planned surprises before, but never like this. And as the first light of Christmas morning illuminated her balcony, she realized something extraordinary. The best gifts weren't found under a tree. They were carefully crafted, strategically delivered, and wrapped in the kind of justice that left a permanent mark on anyone foolish enough to betray her. Nathaniel had expected a holiday of bliss. Instead, he received a season of reckoning. And Clara, finally, received something far sweeter than any present, a Christmas where she was in control, where truth shone brighter than tinsel, and where her heart, unbroken and fierce, could finally celebrate.